If you just guess you're in autophagy, you might waste 20 hours stuck in the fuel switch lobby. You think you're doing a deep clean, but your body is actually just waiting for a signal that never comes. Today, we're stopping the guessing game and looking at the hard data to prove your cells are actually recycling. Most people think autophagy is a light switch you flip, but it's actually more like a slow-rising dimmer. It's like a sunrise. First, it's barely light. Then, suddenly, the entire landscape of your cellular health is visible. If you're new here, we recently covered the brain reset and dopamine focus, which pairs perfectly with today's deep dive. You can check that out later, but right now, let's focus on the 7 signs that prove you're winning. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which markers are real science and which ones are just bro-science myths. We aren't just looking for feelings, we're looking for measurable proof that your body has finally started the repairs. Because when you know for sure, that mental friction disappears and you can finally trust the process you're following. Let's bridge the gap between wanting results and actually seeing the biological shifts that make those results permanent. The biggest villain in fasting isn't hunger. It's the addiction to instant validation and latching onto shaky, fake symptoms. People want a magic sign that proves it's working, so they ignore what their biology is actually trying to say. To understand the signs, we first have to look at the internal fuel gauge your body uses every single day. Think of AMPK as your phone flipping into low power mode the moment your internal battery starts to run dry. Then there's mTOR, which acts like a construction crew that only builds new things when fresh materials keep arriving. When you fast, AMPK rises and mTOR shuts down, giving the green light for the cleanup crew to start working. This is where the foreman, a complex called ULK1, finally gets the official work order to begin the cellular recycling. We're building a complete manual for metabolic resurrection here, so make sure you're subscribed for the full, final protocol. Now, let's track this journey like a mission clock, starting from the 12-hour mark and going all the way up. Every window of time has a specific biological sign and a way for you to measure it with total accuracy. Sign number 1 is the infamous keto breath, that metallic or fruity taste that shows a major fuel shift. Your liver is pumping out acetoacetate, and some of that converts to acetone, which then leaves through your very breath. It's like smelling the exhaust when an engine finally switches over from standard gasoline to a heavy-duty diesel fuel source. This metallic sign means your insulin is low enough to permit fat breakdown, a process we call lipophagy, or fat recycling. You can measure this using a blood ketone meter. Look for a rise between 16 and 24 hours of fasting. Sign number 2 is when the hunger drops and those sharp, annoying waves of the hormone ghrelin finally start fading. This isn't just willpower, it's your brain's hypothalamus using autophagy to regulate your energy balance and keep you stable. Think of it like a smoke alarm that finally stops chirping once you've replaced the battery with a fresh charge. You can track this by noting when your hunger eases as your ketone levels begin to stabilize in that window. Sign number 3 is that legendary cognitive clarity, the mental snap or second wind that makes you feel unstoppable. Your brain starts producing BDNF, which acts like miracle grow for the connections inside your cognitive map. It feels like your brain is running a defrag, clearing out the lag and sharpening your daily focus. To measure this, look for a stable glucose trend alongside a subjective score of your mental alertness. Sign number 4 is the disappearance of puffiness and that nagging joint discomfort you've just gotten used to. You might notice your rings feeling looser or your knees finally quieting down after a long day's work. This happens because autophagy degrades the NLRP3 inflammasome, which is basically a fire alarm that got stuck on. Check your morning ring fit or the scale. Early weight loss is often just fluid from reduced inflammation. Sign number 5 shows up in the mirror. Your skin starts looking clearer and the texture begins improving. Your cells are recycling glycated proteins, which is like sanding off old sticky varnish to reveal smooth wood. Try taking a photo in the same lighting every morning to track how your skin's inflammation levels change. Sign number 6 is a bit of a curveball. It's that temporary fatigue often called the keto flu. Your body is shutting down one assembly line to retrain workers on a brand new, fat-burning machine. Production slows down before it speeds up, so feeling a bit sluggish is actually a sign of progress. Monitor your symptoms and keep an electrolyte plan ready so you don't confuse autophagy with a mineral crash. Sign number 7 is rock-solid glucose stability, which you can see if you're using a continuous monitor. Instead of constant energy crashes, your blood sugar graph starts looking like a calm lake instead of mountains. This stability creates the perfect metabolic environment for cellular recycling to happen without any unwanted interruptions. Remember, early signaling starts around 16 hours, but the deep systemic flux usually needs 24 to 48. Here's the reality check. Cleaning for 10 minutes is great, but a deep clean requires moving the furniture. Hitting the 72-hour mark is often the threshold where deep cellular repair and peak autophagy truly begin. Don't settle for the quick surface clean if you're looking for the massive biological shifts we're talking about. But as you push into these deeper windows, there's a hidden danger zone that catches most people off guard. The biggest risk isn't the hunger itself, it's your internal electrolyte matrix starting to collapse under the pressure. Losing sodium, potassium, and magnesium can lead to heart palpitations, dizzy spells, and those painful leg cramps. Think of electrolytes as your body's electrical grid. If it browns out, the whole city starts to flicker. And here's the kicker. Right when you hit the peak, you might accidentally trigger the ultimate progress killer. People often reach for a cup of coffee to push through, then panic about whether they've ruined everything. They worry that one simple sip will flip the mTOR switch back on and stop the recycling process. The science says coffee can actually help, but the tiny details of how you take it matter most. We need to clear up the confusion before you take your next sip and accidentally break your fast. Pure black coffee contains polyphenols that might actually boost the recycling process in your liver. But the coffee trap happens when you add even a tiny bit of cream or sweetener. That small spike in insulin tells your body to stop cleaning and start building again. It's like the cleanup crew seeing a delivery truck and assuming the workday is over. To stay in the deep clean zone, you must master the art of the clean fast. If you're feeling dizzy or having heart palpitations, don't ignore it. It's an electrolyte emergency. Autophagy shouldn't feel like a medical crisis. It should feel like a steady, focused internal shift. Keep your sodium and magnesium levels high to protect your heart while your cells repair. You've now got the tools to identify exactly when your body enters that high-performance repair mode. No more staring at a timer and hoping. You can feel the signs and read the data. But there is one final hurdle that could undo all of this hard work in minutes. If you don't understand the truth about coffee and autophagy, you might be sabotaging yourself daily. In the next video, I will show you how to master the coffee protocol and keep your autophagy soaring. We are finishing the Metabolic Resurrection Manual together, so don't stop the momentum now. Your body is finally healing. Let's make sure we keep it that way. I'll see you there.